Today, we're exploring amazing then and now photos of America that will take you back in time. Sit back, relax, and watch history come alive. Mount Rushmore before the presidential heads were carved, compared to today, now one of the most famous monuments in the U.S. The Hollywood sign when it was first put up, versus today, with the land long gone. This is the Times Building, the center of New York's Times Square, under construction in 1903, and that same area over 100 years later. The face of the Statue of Liberty before it was installed onto the monument, now standing tall as a global icon. The Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., in 1907 versus the Lincoln Memorial 100 years later. 3rd and Hill Streets in Los Angeles, pictured in 1898 with horse-drawn carriages, compared to 2010, now filled with traffic and modern buildings. The back of the Hoover Dam prior to the dam being flooded with water, and the same side of the Hoover Dam today. The city of Seattle in 1907. Now, a modern skyline stands where hills once towered. The New York City skyline in 1931. Now it is packed with even more skyscrapers reaching higher than ever. The Grand Promenade deck of the Titanic in 1912. Compared to today, resting on the ocean floor. View from Telegraph Hill across the Golden Gate Strait in 1868 San Francisco, California, and the same view today. The Flatiron Building, New York City, in 1917. Over a century later, in 2012, timeless and nearly unchanged. Miami Beach, Florida, before development in the 1900s, now transformed into a glamorous, thriving city. Ames, Iowa, in 1900, and Ames, Iowa, in 2000. Honolulu, Hawaii, in the late 19th century, compared to today, with a modern skyline of towering skyscrapers. Los Angeles in the 1880s, and Los Angeles in 2001. Chicago Water Tower in 1869. Compared to today, although now surrounded by skyscrapers, it remains a Chicago icon. The Old State House in 1900. Today it houses the Freedom Trail Museum, amid Boston's skyscrapers. The Ohio River flowing past Cincinnati in 1867. Compared to today, the city looks completely different. Philadelphia City Hall, completed in 1901, seen at the end of North Broad Street in the early 1900s. Over 120 years later, it remains a historic landmark and seat of city government. The Capitol Building viewed from Pennsylvania Avenue in 1860. This central road between the Capitol and White House is now a National Historic Site. Congress Avenue, pictured in 1901. More than a century later, it still remains the city's central avenue. Mount Vernon in Baltimore was the first statue dedicated to George Washington. Over 200 years later, it still dominates the skyline after recent restoration. Las Vegas, pictured here in 1925, is still a fledgling desert outpost. Today, Las Vegas is a world-famous city known for entertainment and casinos. Captured here is South Broadway, Los Angeles in 1895. Today, it's at downtown LA's heart, bustling with modern life. New Yorkers skating near the Dakota Apartments around 1890. Today, Central Park West has transformed, now filled with famous landmarks and coveted real estate. This 1865 photo shows Charleston in ruins, with the circular church, center, destroyed by fire and war, though St. Michael's, center right, built 1761, still stands. Today, Charleston is unrecognizable. Figueroa Street at College Street in Los Angeles, before becoming the 110 freeway in 1941. Today, little has changed at this historic intersection. The site of the University of Montana in the 1880s was once home to Native American teepees. Today, a thriving campus stands in its place. The Manhattan Bridge under construction in 1908, standing incomplete over a quiet street. Today, it is an iconic part of New York City's skyline. Grand Central Station in 1912, newly built and nearly empty. Over a century later, it remains a timeless landmark. New York City has always looked stunning. Here's the Manhattan skyline in 1964. It's even bigger now. In 1899, Los Angeles was relatively quiet. It grew from an oil boom in the 1890s. Now, it's the movie capital of the world. Houston was once mainly known as a transportation center for cotton. Over the years, the city has diversified. Austin's wide roads and quiet streets in 1943 have transformed into a bustling urban hub, with modern skyscrapers and heavy traffic now framing the Texas state capital. 150 years ago, Denver looked like a quiet western village. Now it has grown into Colorado's largest and most important city, dominated by a modern skyline. Abraham Lincoln's home in Springfield, Illinois, as it appeared in 1861. Now it's carefully preserved and maintained as a historic site. The corner of 49th and 3rd Avenue in New York City, seen in 1940 as Manny Wolf's Chop House. Now home to Smith & Wollensky, it's still a classic steakhouse destination.